welcome back to the United Stand. It is countdown to kick-off for Manchester United's penultimate game of the Premier League season. Friday night football. Spurs is kicking off at 7:30. United are kicking off at 8:15. It is going to be tasty to see what lineup Spurs puts out as well, which will their lineup should be out now, I think. So I'm going to go and have a look at that. We've got loads to talk about. Mods. I think a lot of people are just thinking, let's get out of Stamford Bridge injury-free and ready to go and beat Spurs on Wednesday. Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. This is just the build-up for Wednesday. I'll be so real. Today, all I'm thinking about is like you said, the lineup for Wednesday, which players are going to get rotated, what are Spurs doing? Chelsea might even rotate. I mean, they shouldn't rotate. They're trying to get Champions League football, but it's all literally building up to what's going to happen on Wednesday. So, I mean, if that team's out, that Spurs team's out, I'm curious to see what team they're going to put out and who's available, because they've had a few injuries as well this season. They've had Van der Ven's been injured, Romero's been injured. I know Maddison's pretty much out for the final, but I'm very curious to see which players are available for them going into next week.
Wow, okay. So I've got Spurs' starting 11 here, so I'm going to bring that in. Before I actually bring it in, everyone, don't go and look. Wait, I'm going to read it out in a second. Everyone stay with us. Comment right now down below, and Mod as well. If you United against Chelsea tonight, and you're Amrim, do you go strong, or is it heavily rotated?
It's got to be a balance. I think heavily is a strong word. Like, it's got to be a balance of certain players you still going to want to play, but I'm scared for injuries. The Euro thing kind of scared me a little bit.
For me, the Euro thing scared me, and every game up till now, I've wanted quite a bit of rotation just to keep players, injury-free, and the Euro thing was frustrating. But I'm going to be honest, and a lot of people might disagree with me on this, I think the game before the final against Chelsea, I think you've got to go pretty strong. Very similar to the team that you're probably wanting to play against Tottenham on Wednesday, because I think United need match sharpness, match fitness. Amrim's spoken about it's not good to not play for a while. And I also think the confidence, that West Ham game was such a low. I think everyone after that felt so low and down. I think the confidence just put in a good performance against the side that is fighting for top four would do us a world of good. Just give us that boost. So I would actually go pretty strong to keep that match fitness and keep that sharpness. I remember every time there's an international break and the United players come back, we always lose that game back because they just don't look sharp. I want to keep that sharpness going into Wednesday.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let's say a player like, I know we're going to speak about him later, but a player like Dalot, if you wanted to start him in the final, would you say you're starting today then?
If he was fit and available, yeah, but he's not. So
yeah, true.
So that's the caveat to that. But I would, I would start him. But I would also make subs. Make sure you get for example, the Ahmads and whoever's playing that left-sided centre-back role. Aiden Evans back in the squad, by the way. That could be a big boost going into the final. We'll talk about that in a bit. Obviously, your players that are really important, you'd sub them off and ensure their safety. But I do think we should play quite a strong team. However, I'll bring in the Spurs 11 now. I won't keep you waiting for too long. You've got to look at it, haven't you?
No.
Have you not yet? You're on the chat. Okay, so the Spurs 11, Andrew's just completely rotated and rested. And even the likes of Van der Ven and Romero aren't even in the squad. They're not even on the bench. So their 11 is Kinksky in goal, Spence, Danzo, Davies, Reguilon, Sarr, Gray, Odobert, Moore, Tell and Son.
Okay. And the bench, say it again.
Son's in there because he's getting game time because he's just come back from an injury. Tell, we know, he's kind of in and out that Spurs side.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I do think there's a couple there that could start the final, but it's mainly heavily rotated. Their benches: Vicario, Pedro Porro, Basuma, Casanova, Bentancur, Oluse, Johnson, Richarlison and Solanke. Wow.
Okay. I get
initial reactions.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember exactly. He was in their defence again. It was Spence, Danso,
Davies and Reguilon.
Yeah.
Reguilon, I don't think's barely played for them ever since he's returned.
If Romero and Van der Ven are available, because I don't know exactly if they were in training. I'm not that too clued up on.
They are both available.
They're both available, yeah. So if they're both available, they're both definitely playing next week. I don't think that there's any chance that he's risking out his two best centre backs today. And not play them today, but to not play them next week as well. So yeah, I think they're both going to play next week. Porro, To be fair, Spence, I think Spence is a good player. I actually really like Spence. I don't think Udogi's obviously had as good of a season as he had last season, but I don't mind that them two fullbacks. If I'm a Tottenham fan anyway, I don't mind them two fullbacks. I'm looking at the forward line though. Solanke's on the bench, Richarlison's on the bench. He was on the bench. Brendan Johnson's on the bench, and I can't remember who else was there, but I don't know. I feel like we could.
They've got on the bench. Let me just bring it back up now. Where is it? 1 second. It's just, why is it just clicked off? Why is it just clicked off here? Yeah. So their bench is, Brendan Johnson is on the bench. Udogi isn't on the bench either.
He's starting in it with Spence.
Oh, no, Udogi's not starting. He's not even in the squad. Van der Ven, Udogi. Right. To me, I think it's pretty obvious that Van der Ven and Romero are just being completely wrapped up because that's by far their best centre-back pairing, and they're both so important. Udogi was fit. I still think he is fit. I think he's been a bit injury-prone in the past, so he's probably just wrapping him up, not even having him there in the part of the squad. Yeah. So he's seriously just putting everything on the final here.
So I'm just looking at it now. He's got
that could backfire though if they've not played together and had as much game time together. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at the midfield now properly.
It's hard when you're not looking at it, I suppose.
Mikey Moore, Archie Gray, and Sarr. That is a very, very young midfield. That is they are not. I think Archie Gray's like 18, Mikey Moore's like 17, something like that. So, yeah, he's gone with the kid. I think older Bert as well. He's young as well. Same with Tell, he's like 20 years old. Yeah, they've gone for a very, very young team, looking at the team right now. So yeah, I think the thing is with United and Tottenham is there's almost a sense of pride with United where we actually don't want to just throw away a game like against Chelsea. Chelsea are kind of like our rival. I see them as our rivals.
I see them as a rival.
I know a lot of people say like, how many rivals can United have? But if you're a big team and you win big trophies, you're a rival to United. That's how I see it. We played them in a Champions League final, so I feel like United we don't want to throw away a game as much as like Tottenham would throw away this game against Villa because they have no rivalry there, and they don't necessarily care where they finish in this season. So they've got a bit of an advantage because they can just throw away this game almost. Where United we have a little bit more pride to throw away a game against Chelsea. I wouldn't want to do that fully, so I think that's why he's gone with such a young and rotated team.
And also, in that fight for Champions League football as well, we know it's going to be the top 5. I'd much rather Villa or Forest get in over Chelsea.
100%.
I would so much rather that. So to me, that's giving. Of course, the final is everything, and it means way more. But if we can somehow throw off Chelsea from getting UCL football as well, that would be absolutely beautiful stuff, to be honest with you. Yeah, 100%. So I would love that. So that's where I'm at. I wouldn't rotate as much as what Andrew's done there with his Spurs side, and I don't think Ruben Amorim will, but it is interesting to see what the opposition is doing. Get your comments in. We have Jaden AK saying we haven't won a Prem game in 8 games since the 16th of March, by the way. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we are absolutely. Can you remember the last time we won a Prem game? Do you even remember what team it was?
Do you remember?
I can't. No.
I'm trying to think.
I don't remember the last Prem game we won.
I'm going to try to remember without looking at the chat.
I'm not going to look it up. I do not remember the last Premier League game we won.
It must have been like a relegated team. Leicester. Surely, right?
If that is it, then I'm going to be like...
Ireland scored. Garnacho scored.
The last
I'm pretty sure we only beat
Premier League
relegated
game
teams
we won... Yeah, the last Premier League game we won was against Leicester.
Yeah.
That is diabolical.
That was terrible. That
is diabolical.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's horrible. And I get it, we're all focused on Wednesday and we're all buzzing, but if we want us to win and we'll talk about that final, but if you walk away and you wake up on Thursday morning and we've been beat and you're looking at that league table going into the Aston Villa game on Sunday and we're in 16th or 17th spot and we've not won a Prem game since the 16th of March, and that's against Leicester, who are terrible. That is an embarrassment. It's still an embarrassment if we win the Europa League, but it's terrible.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't even want to think about it like that, because as soon as I start thinking about us losing, my chest starts beating heavy, and I get a bit, you know what I mean? I get a bit shaky, because you're right, because if we do lose that game, the mood completely changes for United. I think that sets us back in like 2 years, at least 2-3 years, just from losing that one game, because the amount that could be improved by us winning that game in terms of obviously financially, but just the mentality of the team. By winning that game, getting Champions League next year, you're going to get money from playing in the Champions League. We could get better players from playing in the Champions League. The fan base is going to be a bit more behind Ruben Amorim because we're most likely going to have a better season next year. There's so much that could go wrong with us losing that final. Like I said, I think it sets us back 2-3 years just from that one game, and yeah, that's why when I think about losing, it makes me feel really bad.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because obviously Ange's rotated heavily. I actually think if I'm looking at that lineup, there's probably one player in there that might start the final, and that's
for the Spurs.
Yeah, probably one, and then maybe two at a push. Whereas I think Ruben Amorim is going to go the complete other way, and I think he's going to start a really strong team tonight. And it'll be interesting to see who kind of comes out on top.
Yeah, like
from what approach the approaches they've made.
I wouldn't want to throw away a game against Chelsea. I get it, we want to rotate, and like I said before, it makes sense what Ange is doing. Like, I 100% get it, because I was even speaking to one of my friends who's a Spurs fan, and we were talking about like the different expectations or the different reasons as to why both teams need to win or want to win anyway. With United, obviously, everything that I just explained before, the financial implications that we lose and not being able to bring in certain players and the whole negative energy around the club kind of disappears a bit when we win a trophy. But with Spurs, their expectations are a lot different, because Champions League for them, I don't think they would have got it anyway. Like, it just I don't think that's really their main focus. For them, winning a trophy is their main focus. That's their if you can give me one thing for Spurs that's been on their mind for the past, how long has it been since they won a trophy? Like 16 years, like 2008 or something like that. That'll be the one thing that they want. So for them, it's not a case of we're trying to save our season. We're trying to create like history almost for Spurs, because not a lot of Spurs fans have seen them lift a trophy this big anyway. So there's different reasons as to why both teams really want to win next week.
It's like the complete opposite. When Ruben Amorim got asked what's more important, the trophy or Champions League football, he said Champions League football.
For them, it's the trophy.
I think for them, it's definitely the trophy. So it's just the difference between two clubs, and it's mad. It's unthinkable for each club to walk away from that without a win. It's unthinkable for Spurs, I think, and it's unthinkable.
I don't think it's unthinkable for Spurs. They've lost the Champions League final.
No.
And it wasn't even that long ago.
Right, I know that, but I'm talking about if you they'll finish in either 16th. Any Prem team that is a big team, and I know United are way bigger than Spurs, but that's finishing in either 16th or 17th or 15th spot. That is honestly, I can't tell you how bad that is. Yeah. So for each team, it's unthinkable to walk away from that with that's your season.
I think Ange's going to get fired regardless. I mean, you think about it.
I agree.
Why is this is what I don't like anyway, because not to say Jose Mourinho is anything, but why did Jose Mourinho get fired before final, but Ange's allowed to play this final? That don't make sense to me. Because they weren't in a worse position.
But I think they've learned from the Jose one.
They have learned, but
because it was a mistake doing that.
If Mourinho was their manager this season, not to say they would be any top 4, top 5, but they would be in a better position, and they probably would still be in the final as well.
You could say that about United.
Yeah.
which is wild.
Amorim, I like Amorim anyway.
Yeah, so do I. But do you see what Sean Dyche was saying, by the way?
I've seen clips.
I watched the full podcast because I thought I need to. Fair play, whoever made them clips, you got me. Because a TikTok came up of Sean Dyche speaking on Amorim, and I thought, let me go and watch that full overlap now.
What was the context?
He was basically like it came across like it did in the clip. He was saying that, it's managers. It's understandably have systems, but at the end of the day, your job is to do the best what your team could do in the Premier League. And he was also talking about how Company got relegated with Burnley. Yeah. But he's obviously doing really well now with Bayern, and he wouldn't kind of change his system. But he was saying he should have changed his system because you need to do what's best for the team to keep them in the Premier League. But he would rather stick by that and look like a better manager rather than do what's best for the team. So he didn't say, but hinted it being a little bit selfish. He then said his dream job would be the United job.
Sean Dyche.
Yeah, and I thought, what? It's good to have goals. It's good to have goals.
Oh, you know what it is?
I also want a Porsche next month.
Yeah,
so,
same. But I think with the element of what he's trying to say, I kind of understand in it. You want to win, get results, but if you need 3 points, do what you need to do to get those 3 points, and that is his philosophy. And I feel like with certain managers, you kind of go into certain clubs with a certain philosophy. If you're like a Sam Allardyce, if you're a Sean Dyche, if you're a David Moyes almost, well, sometimes actually, your philosophy is for that season and that season alone, we need to finish as high as we can. You're not necessarily thinking, what's the 4-year plan to win the Premier League? You know what I mean? What's the 4 or 5-year plan to get us back on top? Whereas with Amorim, he's not thinking for this season alone, we need to do it the best that we possibly can. He's thinking, we're in a very bad state, coming into a club that's, at its lowest. I need a 2-3-year plan, 4-year plan to get us back to the top. This season might be a bad season, but I know in the next 2-3 years, if I stick to what I'm doing, I can get back to the top. For Sean Dyche, he's not thinking like that, and that's why he'll never work at a big club, ever. It's a different kind of mentality for different managers, so I get what he's trying to say, but it only works for him and certain other managers. It would not work at a club like United.
It's interesting. I'll get some super chats in a minute, but just kind of pivot back, and this is the last time I'll speak about that Spurs starting 11, but I've just realised I know Son came on against Palace. This is the first start he's had since his injury, so I'm assuming he's going to start the final then. Do you think that's a big kind of
that benefit for them?
Benefit for them? Is that an advantage? Is that going to hurt our chances? What do you think? I understand when people say Son's not had the best season, he's kind of fallen off a little bit, maybe with age, he lost a little bit of his pace and whatnot. I still think Son's one of their biggest threats. I still think he's a good player. There's a good player in there somewhere. He's just not been able to show it this season. So I think regardless, Son in your team is a better team. He's better than Tell, he's better than Brennan Johnson, he's better than, Richarlison. He's better than Richarlison. Like, maybe only Solanke in Solanke's position is a better forward, in my opinion, in that team. So I think, Son in any team, if he's playing in his favourite position and he's on form, he's a threat. So that is definitely a benefit for them. Especially in a final, players like that step up, don't they? I mean, when you're wearing a Spurs shirt, it might be difficult, but God, I need to stop with this because I've been getting too cocky. But it's like, well, how else can you be? I'm not going in like a nervous.
We need to go in as underdogs. That's the reality.
Because that's what we did against City, and it worked so well because nobody expected it, and then we just were like, whoa, hang on a second. But I feel like even though I actually do think Spurs have a better squad than us, and they have beat us 3 times this season, and they are probably the favourites, I still think the fact that they don't do well notoriously in finals and United does make us the favourites. Yeah,
I agree. I think there's something about mentality in a club. I think actually I heard, it must have been like, I have a Gary Neville, one of those guys, talking about it, the difference between, I think it was Paul Scholes, the difference between like history, and there's a Tottenham fan saying that like, oh, history's not going to take you like over the line every single time, and in a way it kind of does. Like
football heritage, as Jose Mourinho says.
Mourinho literally said it, heritage always wins. And I feel like I've seen it repeat over and over again this season. I feel like even with other teams, there's times where we should have lost. Like, there's loads of times we should have lost games in the Europa League, but somehow we just managed to come over. And I just think it's because the mentality of the team, also the fan base, the noise around the club, something just I don't know, just clicks. I can't describe it, but something clicks and we end up going over the line. So I think that element that United have, and also the players, we do have the more experienced players. We've got Casemiro in there, we've got, I don't know who else has won, but there's experienced players in our team compared to Spurs.
Casemiro, stop.
But even like, I don't know, Luke Shaw's played a lot of finals and won a lot of games. Bruno's experienced, and whoever else, I don't know. But
exactly.
Onana played a final. Like, there's players in there that have played and won certain games in it. But I just feel like that element that we have as United is a reason that's going to help us win.
Ryan Ahmed has said, Amrim's job isn't to get survival points this season, it's to rebuild the club. That's why Dyche and Amrim are different levels. And I completely agree with that. I'm happy. I am so happy I can't even tell you that Amrim's not bent and changed and given in to the media pressure of resorting to just trying to get points, because it would have set this club back even further, and it would have set him back, and it would have immediately, poisoned the chalice of him being manager of Manchester United. I think what he's done by sticking to his system, saying, I am not changing and we will suffer and we will get through this, it's set him up for all he can go is up. And I think it's proved that he will not bend, he will not change, and he has to be back in the summer for that. And then next season, hopefully you'll just see the gradual improvement, and we've actually got a foundation to build off, and he can completely reshape this squad and reshape the team, and that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Daniel Nagy says, from the youth, who can break into the team next year? I mean,
a few players in there, too.
There's a few players that probably need a couple loans.
Yeah.
Also, there's some that are continually in open training, in first team training. Like, the Camisons, the Mantato started coming in, who's really exciting. Kone, yeah. So there is quite a few in there. That Scanlon looks pretty good. That are looking promising. So that's going to be interesting in pre-season to see who goes and who gets game time there as well, because I'm sure Amorim will be using that opportunity to take a real close look at some of the youngsters we've got. Nick P says, so many finals end up being really flat because teams have cautiously rested players. It's like planning a big night out compared to a spontaneous one. I love that. And you know what, Nick? I do think you've got to have momentum going into a game. Yeah. I honestly do believe that the game before the final, you should play a strong team and get that momentum going. That's my beliefs.
I get it. Like, it makes sense. Like, you want to keep that adrenaline. You want, but it almost kind of can backfire, because what if you play that game and you lose, then it's like, well, you've actually just kind of lowered the momentum, you lowered the adrenaline, because now you're coming off a loss going into a final. You want to go into a final off a win, you know what I mean? So I think it just depends on how well that game before goes. If you play a strong team and that team goes and demolishes them, like if we play Chelsea today with a strong team and we go and smack them out of the water and it's 2-0, 3-0 or whatever it is, then 100% it worked. You know, we're going to go into that final with the most confidence, the most energy. The fan base is going to be on that, really backing the team a lot more, because we're happy. It's been, the game's in 6 days or 5 days, something like that. So I get it if you go and win, but if you go and lose, it's almost like, well, it kind of does it swings the other way. So I think, it depends on how well that game goes.
Yes, more chats coming in as well. Keep your comments coming. We have Rahul saying, with the pace that Spurs lineup will have in the final, would it be better to maybe play more technical players in the 10 rather than Garnacho? I still think you need that pace and that outlet in behind. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I would start Garnacho in the final. Mordzs, we've discussed this. You wouldn't, would you?
I mean, spoiler alert, yeah, but no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. We've got more content coming, but it's fine. We can talk about it as well here.
Yeah. I wouldn't start Garnacho.
Things can change. I've changed the starting 11 that I thought I would pick for the final has changed like twice within the last day. Yeah. So it might change again. But at this moment in time, based off the Chelsea game, it might change the way certain players play. At this moment in time, I do believe Garnacho should start the final, and I don't think you do.
Yeah, but it's more based around how my other team. I'll have to explain my whole team for you to understand why he's not starting. But I'm not going to do that because we made a video. Yeah,
we made a video and we'll do it there. But yeah, I would have Garnacho more. I wouldn't get in the comments what you would have. Mason Hughes says, "Hey guys, doing the Lord Kev's work this week, working around Liverpool. Now been blasting country roads, rattled a few copites. United. Thank you very much for your super chat there, Mason." And NDWA says, "We are writing the first pages of our new history. Amorim in, we have started to work on our vibes and mentality finally. Yeah. Let's hope that continues." Thank you everyone for your super chats coming in. Let's talk a little bit about Chelsea, because this is the game that we are playing. We probably will move back to the final at some point. You just can't help we just can't help it. Yeah. We just can't help it. Wait for team news to come out as well. We'll talk about that there. So Chelsea's form, as you can see on the screen there, last 5 games, beat Everton 1-0. Won in their Conference League against a team that just looks like you've smashed your keyboard. You've smashed something across a keyboard. Obviously, no disrespect, but the Conference League we know is, maybe not got the most well-known teams in there. You've got Liverpool win 3-1. Liverpool just won the title and are probably slacking a little bit. You have, again, another win in the Conference League for Chelsea, and then a 2-0 loss to Newcastle, but Newcastle are absolutely fantastic. Chelsea, they've had a dip because they seemed like they were nailed on for top 4 in Champions League football. They've had a dip, but they're still hanging on there for Champions League, and they're on the brink of making it now to Champions League football. They're going to be giving absolutely everything today. We know Nicholas Jackson's out. We know Nkunku's out for them. A couple of other players maybe as well that I'd have to look into. But they are going to be all out. They're at Stamford Bridge. Do you think United can ruin the party?
Yeah, but you know what? I think Forest are going to win the party when they play them next week, because their last game against Nottingham Forest on the last game of the season. Forest still want Champions League football.
I hope to God they get it.
I think the whole world is rooting for Forest next week, to be honest. I think everyone likes an underdog story. Everyone likes storylines in football. You want to see a team like Forest. Who've been amazing this season. There's so many great players that hopefully a lot of them stay out of Forest for next season, but we all want Forest to play Champions League over Chelsea. So I think even if you don't, I think it's going to get ruined. And if they do win both games, then you know what, fair enough, they probably deserve it. But I think we can ruin the party because our record against Chelsea, my best memories against Chelsea are we win a lot. You know, we either win a lot or we draw. It's rare that we actually lose. I feel like we don't lose a lot against Chelsea anyway. I can remember us winning like 4-1 that one time. I think Rashford who scored. I can't remember. What was the last result that we played against them? I think we might have won the last time.
The last time we played Chelsea, I think we drew 1-1.
Drew 1-1.
November 3rd, 2024 in the Premier League, we drew 1-1 to Chelsea at Old Trafford.
We draw a lot against Chelsea, but I feel like we can definitely ruin the party. I don't see why not.
Last 5 games against Chelsea, Chelsea's won 1, we've won 2, and we've drawn 2. So it is actually in our favour there, but it always is a close game, especially at Stamford Bridge. It always does seem to be a draw. Do you remember that Casemiro header that time in like the last minute?
No, but I think
you do. We went and celebrated into the crowd. And he was going like this with his head.
Oh, yeah.
I think it might have been one of his first goals for United.
Yeah.
That I remember, but I do think United could do something today because Chelsea just seem to be that team that it always, no matter what position Chelsea or United are in, because remember that time when Chelsea were like bottom of the league as well, and they'd always give us a game, like we always give each other a game, so I don't think it'll be a walkover for Chelsea. I do think United will have something to say. Team-wise, is there anyone you like, no, they're not starting, they're being rested? How would you approach it? Get in the comments down below. What would your XI be for today?
For United?
Yeah.
Who's definitely being rested? I think there were the players who were like 50-50, like the Dallows and all those kind of players who...
Well, Dallow's not with the squad.
Dallow's not with the squad, well, he's definitely not been playing them today. Obviously, it hurts even like thinking about like, Euro's definitely not going to be playing, the Lick's definitely not going to be playing. I'm looking around the rest of the team, maybe Casemiro.
You'd rest?
Maybe Casemiro, yeah. Only because I just feel like I want him at full fitness. He's the one player that I just think, because I know he's not got the tank that someone like Ugarte or Bruno or Dorgu or like who else in that team, Mazraoui even, these guys have got like big tanks in the system and they can play like multiple games and full games as well. I feel like Casemiro, you want to get the best out of him, give him a little bit of a rest, maybe start him and just take him off at half time, one or the other. But I think Casemiro will be one of the players that I might rest. Other than that, I might rest, not for fatigue reasons, but I might rest Højlund, just because I want to see Chido play more. You know, I feel like Chido's probably got 2 more attempts to play like Premier League football before next season. We don't know what's going to happen with him. He might go on loan. We don't know what's going to happen. So I want to see Chido get a few more minutes today. And the rest of them, it's 50-50. They could rotate. We might see Mount in the team, might see Kobbie Mainoo in the team. I think Collie is back in the... Is he back in the team as well?
He's back in the squad, yeah.
Collie is back in the team, so hopefully we can see a bit more of him. We've not seen him in a while. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anyone, but they're the main players that I think would rotate.
Yeah, I don't know if Chido did travel down to Chelsea. I didn't see him in the squad, but sometimes you don't see players and then they are there, so we'll have to see. But for me, Casemiro I think is a really good shout, and I think a lot of people would agree with you, but then I go back to Casemiro, when he's not played in a while, sometimes can look sluggish. And he takes a while to get into things. I do honestly think you've got to keep that match sharpness and match fitness, despite what Ange's done. Like, their team, right, they've heavily rotated it again. It's probably got 1 or 2 starters in it, right? He also did the same against Palace. So that's nearly 2 weeks that a lot of his starting players won't have played. I don't think that... They might go out there and beat us now, but I don't think that does a lot in terms of your sharpness and fitness and being ready for a final. Also, why were you complaining so much to move your game to the Friday night if you were just going to rest all the players anyway? But it was... I do believe that you should go out there and play a strong team tonight. And Casemiro, I just don't want him to look sluggish, but he's one that I'd be subbing pretty quickly as well. Yeah.
I mean,
Ahmad would be one I'd sub as well.
Yeah, when it gets to like the 50s, even half time, I wouldn't even mind a half time, but around 50, 60 minutes, there's no reason why he's not making a sub. Like, there's no reason why he's still got the same team on after the 60th minute. He should be making a change regardless. Whether we're winning the game, losing the game, he should be thinking, first of all, thinking about Wednesday, but also, we've seen Amrim, I feel like we've seen Amrim time and time again, this season not make the right subs at the right time. I feel like he did it even in the West Ham game. He didn't make the right subs at the right time as well. So I feel like around the 60th minute, 50th, 60th minute, we should definitely be seeing some players come off the pitch, 100%.
Yeah, the confirmed travelling squad versus Chelsea is Anana, Binder, Heaton, Mazraoui, Maguire, Lindelof, Heaven, Fredrickson, Shaw, Dorgu, Amas, Casemiro, Ugarte, Ericsson, Collier, Mainu, Mount, Bruno, Ahmad, Garnacho and Højlund. So Cheeto isn't there. Aiden Heaven is back. I don't think he'll start because he's been out for ages. But could he get minutes today?
Aiden Heaven. I really want to see him play at least one more time before the end of the season.
And this is one for the chat. If Heaven is anywhere near close to full match fitness,
Don't say it.
is there any chance he could start in the final?
That's crazy.
If Yoro and Delit are both out, and Yoro's obviously been playing that left-sided centre-back role, which is where Heaven plays and he shines with that left foot of his.
Yeah.
There's a shout for it. There might be a shout for it.
It's a rogue shout. It's a very rogue shout. I don't think so. Maybe somebody else does. I don't think so. I will say this though. If Aiden Heaven hadn't got injured, I would be all for it. I'd be so real. If he hadn't got injured and he was still playing games and still getting good minutes, I would not be against seeing him start in the final, because I thought in that, I think it was the Arsenal game in the FA Cup, and there was a game before that as well. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was great, and it's difficult competition as well. So I think if he continued his form at that point, there's no reason why I would be against him starting, but he's not played in a while, a very long time. So yeah, one game is enough to get him back to full fitness.
Scupple saying absolutely not, no chance because he's been injured for too long. Shaw will start in the final. I would. Yes over Lindelof. Yes, yes. There's a mix in the chat coming in. I think Shaw will start in the final, but if Aiden Heaven was fit, there's an argument that Shaw could go left wing back, but I don't think Aiden Heaven will make it, to be honest with you. Let's see if he even comes off the bench today. Just looking at that squad there, do you think Cobby will start today, Mordzs?
Yeah.
Do you think Mount will start against his old club? Mason Mount goal today would hit so nicely.
Mount, yeah. I think Mount's probably the one player that I think he has to start today. Because I feel like his time at Chelsea was it's very up and down, because it's like, yeah, he went and won a Champions League for them, and it was great and whatnot, but I feel like it didn't end the best. It didn't end, he was kind of out of form, and it didn't seem to kind of cement himself. I feel like even when he came to United, it was kind of like, well, how good really is he? You've not seen him at his best for a while now. And a lot of Chelsea fans, even though they were sad to see him leave, when he was still there, they weren't the biggest Mount advocates. A lot of them weren't singing Mount's name and praising him as much as they were. As soon as he was like, oh, Mount's leaving to go United, all of a sudden it was, oh, he's homegrown, how can he leave? You weren't saying that when he was playing for you and he wasn't playing well. So I want to see him go there and kind of make a point to the Chelsea fans and to everybody else, United fans as well, that, you know what, I'm still a top player. I can still do this at this level. And it was a mistake for Chelsea to let me go. So yeah, I want to see him do well.
And especially because he's been booed by Chelsea fans when how much he did for the club, and how important he was in them glory years under Tuchel.
Yeah,
I would love him to. I would love him to be the reason why they don't get Champions League football, because I'm toxic like that.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I want to see him. I think Mount will start. Anyway. He has started the last couple of games, right?
I think Cobby has to start today, surely.
Yeah, I think did they both start last year?
He's not been starting.
Did he not play 90 minutes against West Ham?
Cobby, oh yeah, he did, to be fair.
I was going to say, he played the whole game.
He did.
It wasn't the greatest game from everyone, to be fair, but he has played. I think he has played, but I think because he's not going to
start the final, is he?
Yeah, because I don't think he'll start the final. It just makes sense to start him today, because he's good enough to start these games anyway. I know he's young, but he's not a young player in the sense of he's not trying to learn and get experience of starting games. He's played a lot of games for United, so I think he's definitely good enough to play in a game against Chelsea. And like I said, because he's not going to start next week, we may as well start him today and let him get some games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes about it. Team news is out in 10 minutes' time, and then we will evaluate it. We will look at it and we will break it down. We have NBA saying, love the Chicago White Sox shirt.
Is that? I don't even know. It's so real. I don't even know. Is that a baseball team?
You got it without even knowing it was that.
Someone they gave it me in it, so that's why I'm wearing it.
Oh, okay. So. Now he completely knows what it is. Yeah. Do not even worry about
Chicago White Sox, yeah, man.
That's your team. Lee says, welcome to United Stand Members Club. A. St. John, Garnacho has also played every single game this season, so him going off the bench would be lovely. I think Garnacho will start today. I think he will, but we'll see. We'll see. James Churchill says, for a one-off game, I need to see Amorim ditch his philosophy and play what is our best team in the best shape for them. He can revert back to it in pre-season, but for a one-off game, we must play to win. He's definitely not going to do that. He's going to play to win, but you can play to win whilst playing his formation system. We've done it against Liverpool. Well, I know we didn't win, but we drew to them 2-2. We've done it against City this season. We've done it against Arsenal. We're more than capable.
You just got to be smart. This game today and the next game are two very, very important games. If he plays the wrong team today, as in if he plays a player he probably should have rested and we end up with another Euro situation, that could be literally one of the worst decisions that he's made for this season, because that could implement our game next week. So it's a very important decision as to who he picks today, making sure he gets everything right, bringing on the right players at the right time. Don't let a player who you know is a bit more injury prone, who you definitely want to start next week, don't let him play for too long, especially if the game is looking very tiring, it's very up and down, and you don't want to wear out your players that you know are going to play next week. So Amorim, he's got a big decision to make today. I think he has to get it right.
Yeah, I think he does, and I think he's stuck between a rock and a hard place a little bit, because it's you want to play that strong team to build momentum, but at the same time, if anyone got injured, he's automatically going to get blamed. And everyone's about, why did you start him? Why did you play him? Do not learn about Lenny Euro thing and all that stuff. So we'll see on that. I want to ask you a question, Mordzs. What do you think about all the talk going on at the moment about the pundits? Because you had Rio, who was sending Bruno a message, completely bigging him up and talking about the final, you must go and win it. But you see Neville, Scholes, Keane, a lot of the overlap crew have been so critical, and I understand they know the standards of this club and we are nowhere near it. Evra was critical as well the other day. We are nowhere near it. And it must hurt them to see United like this, because they know where we should be. I get it. But it's we're building up to a big final here. We need some positivity. We need to back these players, surely.
I've said before, I think United pundits are the worst. Genuinely, not in terms of understanding football. I just think when it comes to them talking about United, they always try to overcompensate, and they don't want to seem like United fans, or they don't want to seem like biased pundits, but they always cross the line a little bit where it seems like you're actually against United a lot of the time. A lot of the negativity that comes to United comes from United pundits, and that's why I don't even Roy Keane. You'd think, for example, someone like Roy Keane, legend for the club, probably one of our greatest ever captains, did so much for the team and for the club. I mean, you'd think that he would be the one to kind of not understand, but have a bit more leeway to the players, in a sense of, what we're trying to do. We're obviously trying to get better. The team, someone like Bruno, he's obviously trying his hardest to get the team back to where they want to be. So why would you go after the one player who I feel like has been our best player? And I feel like that kind of energy, it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the team, it doesn't help the club, it doesn't help Bruno, it doesn't help the fan base, it doesn't help anyone. It just kind of makes you feel like that you're not being a biased pundit. I feel like the United pundits are just, if I'm being honest, I don't like any of them. I'll be real. Maybe Rio, because Rio's not as critical, and I feel like sometimes he gives a bit more of a fair balance between what's the truth and also trying to actually motivate the team, because he does speak to a lot of the players. But I feel like the rest of them, I don't know. I don't like them. And also as well, I don't want to get onto them too much, innit, because I don't want to get onto them too much. But I also feel like the ex-United players, and I know that they were part of successful teams, but I feel like they don't actually understand what it feels like to play for United right now. And I get it, yes, they play for United, so they understand the club, but none of them played for a bad United team. None of them played for a United team that didn't have the best manager in the world. None of them played for a United team that wasn't trying to win a title. Put them into a team that's struggling and they're not playing, it's not a great team. Let's see how well they do. You know what I mean? Let's see how well you do in that situation. But I feel like sometimes they speak from a privileged perspective that, when I played for United, every single day in training, we were perfect and we went to every game and we went to win. And you did that because the team was set to do that. You went into a team that already had that mentality and that motivation to win every single game. Try and play for a team that's not winning every game and see how well it is or how easy it is to play good. I don't think it's that easy. So I feel like sometimes they just speak from a privileged perspective, and I feel like it's just not fair to the players.
I think their duty, when they are pundits that are I would listen to widely by the Manchester United fan base is to, say it how it is and say that honest opinion. And I do think being 17th in the league or 16th or 15th, wherever we are, is just completely unacceptable. And I completely understand where they're coming from, because this has become a standard that should not be the norm. However, for me, what frustrates me is it's always the players, hammer him. Why don't you talk about the ownership? Why don't you talk about the way the club's been run? Why don't you talk about the issues, off the pitch from the hierarchy? It's always just the players aren't good enough. Amorim needs to change his system, whatever. But let's talk about the real issues at this football club and why it's like that, and back the manager to turn things around. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
I feel like there's a way to do it. There's a way to actually be critical where it's constructive. You're not bringing negativity to the club. You're not bringing negativity to the fan base. United already have so much negativity around them anyway, just from off-field drama and ownership problems and disputes between certain players and managers and what. We already have so much negativity around the club. The last thing we need is for our legends of the club to bring more, because they have the voice. Let's be honest. The pundits, the media, they are the narrative around the club. They're the ones who have the loudest voice. They're on the biggest platforms, TNT, Sky Sports. They're the ones who are pretty much pushing the narrative out to the world about Man United. So I feel like it's their responsibility. And also as a true United fan, it's also your responsibility to try and bring a bit more positivity to the club. And that's why I feel like someone like Rio, even though a lot of people don't like him, I feel like the fact that he does bring more positivity to the club and he does try to encourage the players, I feel like that's way better than just being overly negative and overly critical because we are so bad. We are bad. We are terrible, but you can do your part to help us be a little bit better. So that's why I don't feel like I don't think it's necessary. And I mean, they're going to continue to do it, so it's not really much to complain about. But I just feel like they can do a bit better, man.
I think it's just the full truth rather than half truths would be good at times, but it's something to talk about. And I just really liked when I saw, that message from Rio to Bruno before the final, because I think we need more of that support and coming together in the fan base. Of course, everyone can be frustrated. I mean, I go to Old Trafford every single week and it's just we've not won since we beat Leicester, for God's sake. It's terrible and it's draining, and we will be negative and we will talk about the game, but you talk about every element of the football club, and I think that's super important. Team news is out in 2 minutes, by the way. Get some chats in, let us know your thoughts, and we will see how strong the Amorim has gone. I also want to do something after team news with you that I had planned before the show, Mords, and this is something to look forward to. So make sure you stay tuned and hit a like on the video and stay in the chat, because we want your say as well. We want the community to have a say. I'm going to go through our most commonly played starting 11 this season, and I'm going to say player by player for each position if they should be in the starting lineup come next season.
Next year? Okay.
Yeah. Come next season under Ruben Amorim.
You don't know?
Pardon?
You don't know?
We're going to do it after team news, because team news is in 1 minute, and that's obviously going to take a long time. But I think it's going to be really interesting, because I was actually having this conversation earlier today with my brother, and we were going one by one where we think we'd be and what changes we think we'd need to make in order to challenge for top 5 Champions League, and there's a lot of changes. And we basically came to the decision that basically every single position, bar maybe the 3 centre-backs, needs to be looked at. Yeah. But obviously that's not feasible in one window, but to go through the 11 and kind of make them priorities of who's good enough to start and who's not, I think is definitely an interesting take, and I would like to see what the chat thinks about that as well. Your final prediction, Mords, before the team news is in, because as soon as it is in, I'm going to bring it here. Do you think he's gone strong or rotated?
Final prediction. I mean, I said it's going to be a balance. I don't even know what is strong. What exactly is strong? I feel like, okay, the last game where he started mainly, I think he started Mount.
Team news is out.
Okay, go on. I know
strong or not? Yeah, just answer the question, strong or not?
75% strong.
Okay, that's a good prediction. Yeah. So, his lineup is, and I'm trying to work it out just by looking at it because they do it in numbers, which is so annoying. The lineup is Onana in goal, a back 3 of Shaw, Maguire and Lindelof.
Okay.
Your wing backs is Mazraoui and Dorgu. Your 2 midfielders is Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. Your 2 10s is Ahmad and Mount. And your striker is Rasmus Højlund. I think that this team's going to start the final.
That's 75, 80% strong. I think that's the team.
I think that's the team that'll start the final.
Yeah, I think that's the team.
It's not 75, 80% strong. I think that's full strength.
Wait, say the defence again. You think Luke Shaw and Lindelof are both starting the final?
Yeah.
But is Mazraoui playing?
Yeah.
Oh.
At wing back. If Dallow's back fit, maybe, but if he's not.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole team, I'll just go through it one more time. It's Onana in goal. It's Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw as a back three. By the way, Lindelof was Mourinho, Maguire was Ollie and Shaw is Van Gaal. Like, that is your back three. He's wild, but to be fair, Maguire and Shaw probably both would start anyway, wouldn't they? Because they're the strongest centre-backs we've got. Lindelof, I know everyone's a bit touchy around that. It's mad that Lindelof could be starting the final for us in 2025. Your wing-backs are Mazraoui, right wing-back, and Dorgu, left wing-back. Your two midfielders are Bruno and Casemiro. And your two tens are Mount and Ahmad. And your striker is Rasmus Højlund. And we thought that, like, we had this conversation, didn't we, on the last, or was it on the forum, where we were saying, do we think Garnacho's going to start the final? And some people saying it's unfair to drop him, he's played so many games in a row. And we said, when Ahmad's back, he's probably going to take his place. And that might be what's happened. He might just be resting him, I might be looking too much into it.
Yeah.
I think that team, if it does well today, will start the final.
So you think he would, let me say, rotate Ugarte?
Yeah. You know I do.
Yeah, I know you do, to be fair, but I don't know.
I think Ugate's been a bit of a liability on the ball the last few games. As much as I like him, I don't think he's in form. And I think Casemiro and Bruno together today, if it works, is something he'll definitely think about playing.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
And Mount's come into form recently, and his energy to get all over the pitch. He often subs Mount and Ugarte, doesn't he? Mount, I know he's not as defensive as Ugarte, but he's definitely got that tenacity to get around the pitch. Yeah,
I mean, I've always said, even when we did that semi-final video, I've always said that I wouldn't mind seeing Mount start over Garnacho anyway. And the fact that he's come into form since then kind of boost that point a bit more. My only thing is, I'm looking at the whole Casemiro, Bruno, Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, and Ahmad. If we win, and like I said, it's a good win, and we play good football, I might agree with you. I might agree that's gonna be the final. But the reality is, we don't win. we don't. We've not won in a very long time. Oh yeah, we haven't won in a very long time. So if we lose this game, surely he wouldn't go and play that exact same team, which isn't the usual team that he plays, because we don't usually play these players. Usually it's Casemiro and Ugarte that play in that midfield. So surely if we go and lose today, he's not going to think, well, I still want to play Bruno, Casemiro.
He's trying it out for the final.
Today,
I think that's what he wants to play in the final. I think if it works, he will play it, because I think Ugarte's not done as well recently.
But it's worked with Ugarte and Casemiro in the past.
It has, but we're playing Premier League opposition this time.
It's worked I don't know if it's worked in the Premier League. We haven't won a lot of Premier League games. But yeah, I mean, maybe you're right.
I mean, look, I might be very wrong. Yeah. But I've been wrong a lot of times before. And I think a lot of people would want to start Ugarte for his tenacity, but I just think when you talk about he's lost possession quite a bit recently, and I think that instance against West Ham would have annoyed Amorim.
Yeah,
annoyed him big time. The way he just went down so easy and didn't get back up.
Yeah.
As much as I love Ugarte, and I think he's added a lot to this squad, I just think recently he's not in the best form. And I think if he loses possession the way he has done against Spurs, they could really punish us.
We did speak about this on the forum. That was horrible from Ugarte. And Amorim, I hope he did anyway. I hope he blasted him after the game and then said to him, look, that is completely unacceptable in any game. Even if it is West Ham and it's not the biggest game in the world, you don't do that to any opposition. You don't just fall over on the ball. It wasn't a foul, and then you don't get up and run back. You never do that, So I think Ugarte, he doesn't normally play like that though. That's my only thing. He's usually the player to actually get back and win us the ball. So I get it, it's a big mistake, but I don't necessarily see Ugarte as that kind of player to make that mistake over and over again. He might lose the ball in the midfield, but let's be honest, we've seen Casemiro lose the ball in the midfield as well. Plenty of games this season. So it's not like it's unlikely that Casemiro can do that. I've seen Bruno lose the ball, even Bruno lose passes. So it's I think it's a little bit unfair to kind of say, well, you made that one mistake, you're out of the team now. You know what I mean? So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you in the sense, obviously, if we get smashed up tonight and we don't play well, I don't think he will start that team. I think he'll make a couple of adjustments, but I think if he plays well, it will play. It'll be interesting to see how Casemiro and Bruno get on against a strong Premier League side in Chelsea, because a lot of people are worried about that partnership, because there was murmurs about it. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I said I think I'd start them two in the pivot for the final. Do you know what I mean? But there was murmurs of people wanting to do that. But the response from a lot of fans was, but what about the legs? What about, well, we'll see that against Chelsea tonight. So I think Amorim's been smart about it.
A part of me kind of thinks as well, if Dalot on 100% isn't available, I would rather put Ahmad at right wing back.
I don't think Amorim will do it. I don't think he'll risk it.
Because
risk because I think he'll want him closer to goal for his output that way. And I also think in the biggest games of this season, against the Liverpool, against the Arsenal, against the City, he's played full-backs at wing-back. And I think he'll do the same in a final. I think he'll be a bit conservative.
Yeah, I get the logic.
I'd play Ahmad at wing-back, but...
He makes a difference. I'm not saying he doesn't make a difference at 10, that's not what I'm saying. But at wing-back, there's so much of a difference between playing him and anybody else that we have, whether it's Mazraoui or Dalot or whoever else, or Dorgu when he's played there. The difference between Ahmad playing there is so big, and it means that we can actually, could we have 10s, we have Garnacho.
Do you think Amorim's going to do it though?
I don't know, I don't know. Did he not start Ahmad there last game?
Yeah, but you're against West Ham at home. He's not started Ahmad. He's not started Ahmad in a big game at wing back. I don't think. If anyone can correct me, I think against has Ruben Amorim started Ahmad against a Big Six team at wing back this season? If you can correct me in the chat, let me know. But I don't think he has. A lot of people are asking for the bench, so I'll quickly read that out before I come back to that comment. Subs are a lot of people asking for the bench. So the subs are Bayern Day, Armas, Fredrickson, Heaven, Collier, Ericsson, Mainu, Ugarte and Garnacho. Mainu on the bench once again. Which is, that is why I think this I think if you were like rotating in this game and saving players to the final, players like Mainu would have played. Do you know what I'm saying?
But what about Garnacho? Garnacho's on the bench, right?
Yeah, I don't think he'll start the final, even though I think even though I think I would start him, I don't know. I don't think he's going to. I think Amorim's just like, people are saying it's harsh, but I think Amorim's got the balls to make the goals.
Well, he should be, respectfully, innit, he should be able to drop Garnacho without it seeming like it's a big deal. I mean, as much as I'm not saying Garnacho's this horrible player or whatever, but he's still a kid. Like, a manager should be able to drop a 20-year-old without everyone saying, why are you dropping him? Unless he's flipping Lamine Yamal or someone like that. You should be able to drop him. But even like Kobe Mainoo.
You're Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, like, he should be able to drop a player.
You're right.
He should be able to. Or rotate. He should be able to rotate Kobe and Garnacho and these young players because he wants to. You know what I mean? He's a manager and the young players are they have no real right to say anything else. So, but I don't know. I have a feeling that he's still going to play Garnacho in that final. I have a very strong feeling. He's trusted him in a lot of games. And you said before, how many times has he played Ahmad in the 10 in the big games? Well, he played Garnacho in the big games as well. He started him in a lot of these big games, and Garnacho has actually played well in big games as well for us. So the final last year, he scored. He scored and he got an assist in the final. So I don't see why FA Cup final. Did he not?
Yeah, he did score. He did score, didn't he?
He scored the first goal.
Yeah, he scored the first goal.
He scored the first goal and he didn't get the assist. Bruno got the assist, but
it was Rashford to Garnacho to Bruno to Collier. I remember that sequence.
It was a great play. It was a great play from all four of them. So, I think there's a chance that Garnacho could start next week, and that's probably why he hasn't started the last two games. Possibly the reason why.
Interesting. Interesting. It's a good point. I just think that's the team for the final if it wins. I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. Evan McGlynn says why it might be Mount out for Garnacho. That could be one that he might do.
Or
if any player's going out of that 11 for the final, it'll be Mount, not Ahmad. Because I am so certain he's not going to play Ahmad at wing back, but if he does, he does.
How are you I don't get how you're so certain.
I'm like, you know what? That is confidence from him, and that is, serious. Like, I'd rate it, I'd respect it, because I love Ahmad at wing back. I would play him there if it was me. Or I'd have it. Actually, no, I think I'd have him at 10. Anywhere on the pitch, but I wouldn't mind playing him at wing back, right? But I just don't think Amorim would do it. Like I said, every big game we've played this season, he's put full-backs at wing-back. He's not going to change it for a final.
Fair enough, but before you just actually, this is my last point on this. Yeah, we'll probably talk about it a little more after. But I feel like the difference between Ahmad and let's just say Mazraoui or Dalot at wing-back is a lot bigger than the difference between Ahmad and Mount in the 10, or Ahmad and I don't know, Garnacho or Ahmad and Komi in the 10. I feel like there's so much more of an impact you can have by putting Ahmad as a wing back. The 10s can kind of fill themselves out. We have good enough players to play in the 10. Even if Bruno plays if it's Bruno and Mount, I feel like that's not a bad 10 combination compared to changing or playing Dalot or Mazraoui as a right wing back over Ahmad.
But when you've got Udogie and Son coming at you.
Udogie's not been crazy this season.
Udogie's great.
And Son might even... No, he's not. I was going to say...
I just think he's going to feel safer with a full-back there for a final. I'm talking you into it, aren't I?
No, I don't know.
Get in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah. Get your comments in. What do you think? But I think you made some good points. I really do. James Cook says, sent 5 United stand memberships. Thank you, James. Seema Jaya says, Mount Garner is 10, Ahmad right wing-back, Lindelof out, and Mazraoui right-sided centre-back for the final. Is that that's what you're doing it?
I didn't even know what you said.
So Mount and Garner is 10, Ahmad right wing-back, Lindelof out for Mazraoui as right-sided centre-back for the final.
That's a better team, I think, for the final.
Evan McGlynn says, why has he gone so strong? No injuries, please. I think he's trying to build momentum. He's gone for a completely different approach to Ange, which I thought would happen. And that's going to be interesting to see kind of where it pays off. Because I'm happy with what Amorim's done. I'm not going to be happy if in 60 minutes into the game, Ahmad's like coming off with an injury or something like that, touch wood. Like, that's when I'd be gutted. But that's why Amorim's paid the big money to make these decisions.
Yeah.
Rob Always United says, Beth will have to play her hearts out to win. That's just asking for injuries. Thing is, you can get injured in training. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've sometimes...
Most of our injuries come through training.
Pardon? Exactly. So it's like... It is what it is, isn't it? Like, this is football.
Yeah.
Dan Davies says, there is a reason why PSG sold Ugarte. I personally don't think he's good enough. King Nando says, is this a preview to line up for the final? No, not yet. Mohak says, risky starting lineup, injuries coming. Mohak says, Ange has... rested his top players. Your move, Ruben.
The Chelsea team?
Yeah, I'm going to get that in now. Okay. Bobby says Mount will start the final. He's been prepped for months. Right Fruity says, let's all take a moment to thank Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester for taking the 4 for us this season. Facts. If it weren't for them, we'd be going down.
100%.
Interesting, Bobby says Mount will start the final. He's been prepped for months. I actually said, do you remember when we were outside the Group Armour Stadium in Lyon with Humsey? Yeah. And I said, Mount... like, nobody's got any faith in him. A lot of the United fans, don't even kind of see him as a United player, really, or trust him. But I said, a few good performances towards the back end of the season, he could completely change his trajectory of the number 7 shirt and his United player, and he could see himself starting the Europa League final if we get there. I'm going to clip that up when I finish this. But
did you film it?
Yeah.
What was it on?
I think I filmed it on my phone.
Okay. Oh, was it on your vlog?
Yeah, it was on my vlog.
Yeah.
So, he might not start the final, it might be Garnacho for him, and I could see that being very plausible, but he's definitely going to have a touch wood, he don't get injured. But he's definitely going to have a big part to play, I think. How impressed have you been with Mount, actually? He seems to have gone ahead of Cobby, which is wild, really, considering Cobby's standing in the team and Mount standing this time last year.
Yeah, I think from the beginning, I remember one of Amorim's first sessions when he came in, I think one of the plays that he mentioned straight away was about Mount. He said Mount is the kind of player that I want. He's the kind of 10 that suits my system, and his attributes are exactly what I needed in that position. So I think we've known from the beginning that if Mount is available, Amorim's going to prefer him over most of the other players that we have in that 10. I think even if Xerxes was available, I still think Amorim would prefer Mount over Xerxes. And over Garnacho and over Cobby. Yeah. Maybe not Bruno, obviously, and Ahmad.
Well, Bruno's playing midfield.
Bruno, he's playing midfield, so maybe he does, to be fair. But we've always known that Mount is one of his favourites. And to be fair, from looking at the last couple of games, I get it. I actually understand it now. And I said it before on one of the forums. My whole thing with Mount was I wasn't sure how good he really was anymore. We know how good he used to be for Chelsea, but it's been a very long time since then, and we hadn't seen him play at that level for a consistent amount of time. Yes, he's had these one-off games where he plays very good, but we haven't seen him play for 3, 4, 5 games in a row very well. And even the West Ham game, I saw some people after the game say that Mount had a bad game. I don't think he did. I thought the start of the game for Mount was very good. I thought he kept the ball very well, press resistant. He switched it to Ahmad very well as well. And he obviously got brought off, I think, around 60th minute or something like that. So he didn't end up finishing the game. But I thought he had a very good game in that.
I thought him and Ahmad were pretty decent.
Yeah, and one of our only bright sparks in that game. So yeah, I can understand why Amrin prefers him over someone like Kobe, because he is more of his
mobile
style of. Yeah, he's more mobile, but he's more of an Amrin player than Kobe is.
Well, the starting 11 for Chelsea is Sanchez, Reece James, Tosin, Colwill, Cucurella, Casado, Enzo, Madueke, Palmer, Neto and George. So George comes in up front for
starting
Jackson.
George?
Yeah, Jackson got sent off, didn't he? But it's wild that he's starting George, because he's mainly just been playing in the conference.
Where's Neto? Neto must be playing, right?
Neto's playing, yeah.
And Lennon left?
Pardon?
Did they have the formation?
Doesn't have the formation,
okay,
no,
okay,
but
cool.
I'm assuming he'll be on the left and Madueke will be on the right.
Okay.
And then George up front.
But surely, like...
Palmer in behind.
Oh. I was thinking he put George on the left and Neto up front.
He might do that.
I don't know, maybe.
He might do that, to be honest with you. Let me see what it says on FootMob. Let me see what it says. The Mason Mount Derby is what we're calling it. By the way, guys, there's loads of you guys watching. Thank you very much for that. Make sure you smash a like on the video, because we've got over 9,000 people in the room and we've not even got 1,000 likes. So hit that like, hit that like button if you're here. Make sure you do it and get voting in the poll as well. Let me just look at where it says it here. Yeah, they've got George off the left and Neto up front. You are right. That's the way they've been doing it, innit? But they interchange a lot.
Yeah, obviously George, he's not playing a lot. I don't follow Chelsea religiously like that. But one thing I do know is that he's played most of their Conference League games, because they rotate heavily in their Conference League. It's a whole new team. And obviously because of the Jackson injury, they haven't really got a second striker. So I feel like Neto would probably be their best player to play up front from what they have available. I think. I don't know what their bench is. But yeah, I think that's what they'll probably do.
Okay, well, get in the comments down below what you think about their team as well. Get your predictions in. Just quickly, Mords, before I go through the lineup thing we're going to do, who's your player to watch today? Because it was Gino, but you have to change it.
From looking at the lineup, I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for... You said Martin. I'm going to say Mount as well. Only because... Okay, let me pick someone different. You can say Mount.
Do you want to... If you want to have Mount, I'll say Mount then.
I'll say Mount only because I feel like we're actually seeing I spoke about him already anyway, but we're seeing a nice little run of form where he's playing well, and I want to see it continue up until the final, up until the end of the season. Hopefully he doesn't pick up any kind of knock or injury today, but I feel like this is like one of those games where he kind of announced himself a little bit in the Bilbao game with those 2 goals, great goals, but today against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, this could be a big game for him, and I hope he does well. So I think my player to watch will be Mount.
I think I've got 2 players to watch now. Dorgu, because he's kind of been a bit hit or miss for me, and I want to see him step up tonight against a good opposition. And also Bruno in that deeper role, because if he's going to play that deep role in the final, he's going to need to be disciplined, and let's see what he can do there against a big team today. Because, like I said, I think he scored a hat-trick against Real Sociedad from that deep line midfield role, but that's, a different kind of opposition. And he's played well there sometimes this season, but then he's always kind of gone back to the number 10. So there's a debate what's his best position, so I want to see how he plays there next to Casemiro today.
Yeah, I agree.
Got some more super chats in. Mason Hughes says, I think he will bench Ahmad and Garner for the final to have an injection of pace in the late stages of the game. Nah, not a chance. No. Not both of them anyway. João Macedo says, why can't Mazraoui get a break? Ridiculous. Well, if you watch the interview we did with Mazraoui on the United Stand, he did speak about the amount he's been able to be fit this season, and it's something he's really proud of. Right Fruit, he says, let's take a moment to thanks. I've done that one. Thank you very much, everybody, for your comments. See, I tweeted out, I think this is the XI Amarim will start for the final. And Martian Ball, do you know his account on Twitter? Commented, he'll start Garnacho because of the pace and high line. Lindelof cannot start in the final. Mazraoui should be part of the back three. If we start like this, we're getting cooked. So let's see how it continues. And everyone's got different opinions, and it will be interesting. I think people will be shocked if that back three does start a final. Also, this is 19-year-old Tyreek George first Premier League start against Manchester United. So it's his first start tonight. Sorry, not against Manchester United, in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's his first start in the Premier League against United.
That's what I was saying. Like he usually starts like their Conference League games. That's why I doubt he would start up front for them. Because surely if it's going to be your first start, you want to play him in his most natural position, which I think is on the left anyway. Maybe it's on the right actually. I think it's on the left though. So that's why I feel like he will start on the left, and then Neto would probably start up top. It's funny because Sancho can't play in it today.
No.
I think that would have been so interesting.
I would have actually liked to see him play.
It would have been so interesting to see Sancho play today and see what he did. I'll see what he does anyway, just because that whole saga has just gone ridiculous. The fact that they're willing to pay us now to bring him back is insane. But yeah.
I'm just deleting that super chat because it's just not true at all and it's very strange. 1 second, let me just delete this. Right, okay, thank you. John Hancock says Garnacho needs to start transitioning as a midfielder. The opportunities he created lately is showing incredible potential. Swap him with Ahmad or Mount. Ahmad as fullback would create worthy chaos. I don't think he should start ahead of Ahmad. I think Ahmad's better, but I think you make a good point about his transition and the way he's improving. I think he has improved a lot recently. Right, let's go through this 11 that I wanted to go through.
Okay, yeah.
And so, chat, you say yes or no as well, right? And we'll say yes or no. I'm going to go through Manchester United's most played 11 this season and in Amarim's system and formation, and you say yes or no whether they should start first day of the Premier League season next season under Amarim. They
should start, as in like, do I want them to start or do I think they actually will?
No, want them to.
I want, okay.
Like, should they be starting or obviously do we need a new player in that position? So, Onana.
No. No, he shouldn't. I think he would though.
Okay.
I definitely think he would. I don't think we're going to... I don't know, but I doubt we're going to prioritise a keeper this summer. But do I think he should start? No way. I gave up on him. I always say this. From that Brighton game where he made like a couple of mistakes and the last mistake in that 3-1 game, I completely gave up on Onana. So from that point, Onana cannot be our future goalkeeper.
Okay. We're going to go on to the centre-backs.
Okay.
Right-sided centre-back, Mazraoui.
Yes. Yes, I'm going yes. He's our best right-sided centre-back. And not to say that we can't do better, because you can always find a better player in the world, but I feel like it'll be difficult to find a player who's as versatile as Mazraoui, who can play different positions and do what he's been able to do this season. So I would actually, I'm happy to see him start for next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I was going through this before myself, the centre-backs was the only bit I was kind of happy with.
Yeah.
Central centre-back, De Ligt.
Yes. Yes, he said he's going to be. It wasn't me. Was it Kev? So he's going to be the next like Van Dijk or next Rio. No, Rio was Euro. I think it was Van Dijk. Someone said he's going to be the next Van Dijk, but I think.
Who was that?
It might have been me. You know.
Oh, was it Tull?
Somebody said it. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you remember?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, I think De Ligt. Well, until he got injured anyway, was one of our better centre-backs, and I think he's really adapted to United very well. I think he's got great leadership as well, which I feel like we need in that area of the pitch. We've got leadership with Bruno going forward, but you need a commander at the back who kind of lead everyone and make sure that everything's in order and in place. And I feel like De Ligt is the perfect person to do that. Great age as well, 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot of years to come and a lot of experience that he can gain. So yeah, and he's already got a lot of experience anyway. Playing for so many big clubs. So yeah, I think De Ligt will start.
I agree. Lenny Yoro.
Lenny, yeah. I've been singing Lenny Yoro's praise for time now. I like that player. I think he is still young, and there has been times this season where he's been caught out. I remember the Southampton game, he got caught out a little bit, and there was a bit of criticism there. But I feel like he's learned so much from that game in terms of how to position himself and to not get, beat for pace by quicker players. And I don't think he's been ripped like that since that game. And that was a very long time ago. So, and I think on the ball, he's improved a lot. Maybe it's because of his confidence. Maybe it's because Amrim's kind of instructed him to play a bit more on the ball and drive it into midfield. I mean, that Mount goal came because of Lenny Euro, how good he was playing on the ball. So
he's improved so much.
It's so much. And I really like him. So, yeah, I would... If he starts, I would not be annoyed at all. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think if Martinez is back fit...
That's what I was thinking.
Do you think he'd start over him?
That's my only thing that I was thinking. Like, would Martinez start there? The likelihood is, if he gets back from injury quick enough and he has a good pre-season, I feel like Amrin might put him in the team just because he's a more experienced player. But if Euro starts, I'm not complaining at all, genuinely.
I think I'd have Euro over him.
I'm not complaining. I'm not bothered.
I think I would. I think it's an all-round centre-back. I think I would. But I think it's not a bad place to be where you have Euro, Aiden Heaven and Martinez who can all play there. Martinez is probably the senior one.
And also he's left-footed.
Yeah, that's true.
So that does play a bit of a factor.
But Euro could move to right side centre back, but then you've got Majvari compete for that. I think we're set at centre backs. Is what I'm trying to say.
I say that, but we're starting Luke Shaw.
I don't think we need to go into the transfer market for a centre back. Oh yeah, true actually.
So you can be as stacked as you want. Injuries come through, and it's like, well, where's everyone gone?
Be interesting to know what everyone thinks our best back three is as well. Actually.
Yeah.
But okay, moving on to wing backs. Okay.
Let's do it.
Dorgu.
If we can find better and Dorgu be our second place wing back, that's what I think would be the best option.
I agree.
If go on.
I'd love to sign Nori and then have Dorgu as his understudy.
Yeah, I think that's best case scenario. And it's not a case of like sell Dorgu, because I think we got him in for, how much did we get him in for? 20-something million?
20 mil.
20 million, so he's not relatively expensive. He's still very young, so there's a lot for him to learn. And I feel like the parts of Dorgu's game, which I feel like is his weakness, are things that he can definitely improve on. Like, for example, his crossing ability. Get on the training pitch. Just go and practice your crossing every single day. Over summer, practice it over and over again. You're going to get better at it. I feel like the rest of it, his work rate and all that kind of stuff, these are things where I feel like, as a player, it's hard to teach a player to work hard. You know what I mean? You either have it or you don't. And I feel like Dorgu has that side of his game, which is what we need. So, yeah, I feel like he can definitely improve in the future. But for now, we can go and get in a little bit more experience left wing back. He's technically a little bit better as well. That's the best option for me.
Very mixed on the Dorgu from the chat, by the way. A lot of yeses, but also a lot of no's. So I think we're in agreement on that. Right wing back. See, our most played right wing back is Dalot.
Is it?
Yeah. So Dalot.
I think, you know what, let me say this about Dalot. Start of the season, I would have said no. Like, in fact, the first half of the season, I would have said absolutely not, just because it seemed like he was a completely different player at wing back compared to playing at full back. But a part of me kind of feels like he did improve a lot. He did improve a lot when he moved into the right hand side, and he picked up some form, and he was actually playing pretty decent in my opinion. I still feel like there is another level to go to when it comes to wing backs. There's from what I've seen from wing backs across Europe anyway, like Frimpongs and whatnot, there's another level that you can go to and you can definitely get a better player there. But if Dalot was starting, I don't think I would complain too much if he continued the form that he had before he got injured. So that's where I'm going. I don't know if that's a yes or no, but it's kind of both.
See, I think Ahmad should start there next season as right wing back. Personally, if Amrim can get his system like completely nailed down with this squad in the pre-season and work with them closely, I'd have Ahmad there. And I think that's why we're not going in for a right wing back, because you know Frimpong's there and everyone's like, why are United not going for him? I think Amrin's happy to have Dalot and Ahmad covering that with Mantato and Camerson in the academy, who both look pretty good as well. I think we need a left wing back more than we do a right. I think we need an Nori, or Nori would be my choice. So you have him and you have Dorgu, and then you have Ahmad and Dalot for the other side. I don't think we need to sign anyone there this summer. In the future, yeah, but this summer, I don't think we need to.
Yeah.
But get in the comments what you think on that one. Before we move to the midfield, a couple of super chats. We have Bobby saying Yoro will be the first centre-back on the team sheet next season. Wouldn't be surprised because I think he's so good. Chris Roy says, do you guys think there's any motivation to scupper Chelsea's Champions League hopes as a club that will rival us for transfer targets? I think there's always motivation for a player going into playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It's a big game. It's an occasion. There's always going to be motivation there. Bobby says, my only problem playing Mount, he'll be playing with intensity with a point to prove at the Bridge. Hopefully no injuries. Yeah, that's a good point as well. But I think he always plays with intensity, Mount. That's just what he's like as a player. But next up, let's move on to the midfield, okay? Yeah. So, first up, Ugarte. Should Ugarte be starting for United on their first game of the Premier League next season?
I feel like we can do better. I just feel like we can. I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I'm not saying he's not capable of playing a Premier League game. He can play a Premier League game, but I don't know, I just feel like we can just do better. There's always another level. If there's an opportunity for us to get a better midfielder, like I said, I'm not complaining. And I feel like there's another level we can get to. So I don't know. It's tough. What are you saying?
I don't know. I think Ugarte, if you're competing right at the top, which is where I want us to be, I think he's a squad player.
Yeah. Happy to see him come off the bench.
I just don't know if Ugarte and Bruno can be
the best pivot
next season, and I do think Bruno's going to play there next season.
Yeah.
In a pivot. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm 50-50 on that one,
I spoke to someone as well, yesterday, about, they were saying to me, they're an Arsenal fan, they were saying, are you not concerned that he never worked at PSG? And the fact that they went and improved and gave us their kind of leftovers, and we kind of got worse. Not to say that it's Ugarte's fault, by the way, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at other big teams and I think, when a big club like PSG, they're a big club, when a big club sells a player to another big club, you got to ask yourself, why are they selling that player to them? Because if we go and buy a player from a smaller club, I can understand why you'd want to leave, let's say, Wolves and come to United. I get it. Everyone want to, Ipswich. You're gonna want to leave a smaller club to come to United or Sporting. You're gonna make that choice. But when it's like a big club sent to another big club, why are they getting rid of a player? Is there an element of his game that we don't know about or we've not seen as to why he wasn't playing regularly? Unless somebody watched every PSG game. I didn't watch every PSG game, so I didn't see him. But I feel like there might be a reason why he never really worked out at another big club. And maybe it's just because he's not at that level. And yeah, that's why I'm kind of mixed. I'm a bit torn. But you're right, he can be a good squad player. But is he ready to be a starting player for one of the best teams in the league? I'm not too sure. Not saying we're going to be that next season, but we're going to want to be at that point eventually.
Robert McCormack's put an interesting super chat in. Ugarte isn't even getting picked in this team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he does usually get subbed at the 60th minute, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Perkle Notori says Ugarte hasn't even had a proper pre-season. You're judging him already. Come on. I do think it's mad how, we got Ugarte and they got João Neves. And João Neves is just absolutely insane. And I wish we would have got João Neves. But I don't believe that just because he didn't work at PSG doesn't mean he can't work for us. I think he's had some really good games this season. I do think different players are suited to different systems and different managers and different leagues and different teams. Yeah. We've seen players before fail it at one club and then smash it at another. Like Salah and De Bruyne didn't work out at Chelsea, but
do you feel like he's?
I don't think he's their level.
No, I'm asking now. I was going to say, do you feel like he's? I mean, it depends if you watched him at PSG. I didn't watch him, that's why it's hard to really comment. But do you feel like he's improved, or he's like at least got to another level from playing for United? Or do you feel like he's?
I really liked him at Sporting. He didn't really play much at PSG. I watched him against Newcastle when they played them, and I thought he was decent. I think Ugarte is a really important player to have in your squad.
Yeah.
In your squad. Like the tenacity, the hunger, the way he can get around the pitch, the turnovers he can create. I think he's a good squad player, and I think he will be a good squad player for United. Whether he's going to be a starter in the future, I don't think so.
Yeah,
if
same.
we want to compete.
I
I'd
think
love
so.
to go and buy Wharton.
Adam Wharton.
I'd love to go and buy Wharton.
Very different.
Very different type of player, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying to replace Ugarte in that sense.
Yeah.
Wharton would be my Casemiro kind of replacement in a way. But yeah, there's talk about us going for Edison as well, who's kind of a kind of a Ugarte type, you know, same sort of role, but it'll be interesting. Right, okay, next up, Casemiro.
Should Casemiro start for United next season? No.
Nah, he shouldn't. As good as he's been back end of this season, we've had to rely upon him because our other players haven't been good enough and haven't stepped up. For me, Casemiro shouldn't be starting next season. I think he'll stay around, and again, I think he'll be a squad player for us. But we need a starter in there. Do you think Bruno will start in the pivot next season?
Depends who we bring in. If we don't bring in those 10s, Bruno's going to have to play in the 10, in my opinion. Because I think him and Ahmad are 2 best 10s right now. Which means we're going to have to fill in the pivot spot. So if we do bring in like a Cunha and Mbeumo, whoever else is linked to United, then that 10 position is sorted. We don't need to kind of rotate as much with certain players. So Bruno can actually drop deeper into that pivot role and start there. And I wouldn't be too mad at it either. So
So far, we're agreeing we probably need a new left wing back. That's why we're going to use a transfer.
We need a lot.
A new goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And we'd probably get one more midfielder to play in that pivot.
So
because we're not 100% sold on any pivot player, really.
No. Yeah, so you said goalkeeper. I think 2 new wing backs if we can.
Yeah, but
we can't.
Yeah.
But wing backs is a big role for me.
I'm talking about massive priorities here.
Yeah, massive priorities, fair enough. But yeah, and then those 2 midfield roles, yeah, definitely need an improvement there.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we're going to the 10s. So the 10s are Garnacho.
No.
No, I don't think he should be starting either. It's going to be Cunha there, let's be honest. And then the other one is Bruno, who is going to start, but I don't know if he's going to be in that position.
Bruno should. If the answer is should Bruno start next season, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's just where he is going to start, I don't know. But should he start? Yes, 100%. Probably the first one.
Let me ask the chat though. So chat now, because I want to see your comments. Should Garnacho be in the starting lineup next season, first game? Because I feel like the chat usually are quite like Garnacho, so I want to see what they say.
Was there a poll already?
There's a poll already.
Okay.
But there's a mix here. I think the majority are saying no. People saying Bruno was 10, no, is a 6, yes. And I think that's so accurate. I wouldn't be surprised if United line up with 2 new 10s.
New 10s?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they line up with a Cunha and a Cherki, or a Cunha and somebody else.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Cunha and like a Mbeumo, Cunha and a Cherki.
I'm telling you now,
and
if you had Cunha and Mbeumo, a new striker, that it changes, it automatically gets you into the top 8, I think.
Should be better than that.
Yeah, and then when you add a midfielder and a wing back to that, and then maybe a new goalkeeper, that's probably asking for too much.
250 million.
That's probably asking for too much. Then you're getting serious.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've always said, look, I understand the whole picking plays that fit Amram's system, but quality-wise, if you just go and buy 5 quality players, as in like players who are a level above the players that we have now, the team's naturally just going to get better anyway. We're not going to finish this low if we go and bring in, like you said, Cunha and Mbeumo, a Cherki, I don't know what strikers we're going to get, whether it's a Gyökeres or whoever, Osimhen, whoever it is. But like you said, a wing back or a midfielder, like just go and bring in 5 quality players. The team is just naturally going to get better overall anyway. So, yeah, I agree. If we can go and bring in those level of players, we're going to be a top 8, top 6 team next year.
And then I think the last one is obvious, Højlund up top.
Go on.
I mean, I think it's obvious. I think Mark might be the only one that says yes. But yeah, I think that's obvious. But we've got some Amorim quotes coming in, so we'll bring them and we'll go to the super chats as well. Fred Army says, I thought Cherki was totally average when we played him against Lyon. I thought he was good, but my pick would be Mbeumo 100%. Everyone knows that. I think Cherki was good, by the way, and I think he is good for the money that's there as well. But some Amorim quotes explaining his choice for the 11. He has said, On choosing a strong 11 versus Chelsea, we have 5 days to prepare for the final, and our focus is on this game. Sometimes the best way to prepare for the final is to play and compete. We've experienced some problems in that area, so I want to see this team compete. So basically it's saying, I don't want to lose a single game. I want to win every game. You were 2 laps against West Ham, you were 2 laps against Brentford. Let's go and compete. He said, I need to understand my team to prepare the final better, and they need to prove themselves for the final. They need to compete in the Premier League. Asking his team to go out and prove why they should be starting in the final, basically.
Facts.
And I like that, because no one did that against West Ham. It was weird.
Yeah.
Amorim said, it's like we kind of waved the white flag before we even went out. He also said, the biggest problems we've had this season is on training. We had an Ahmad injury in training, also with Manu. We never know where the danger is, but we have time to recover for the final, so let's compete.
What, the training his fault?
He was, yeah.
He did the training, I don't know, man.
Amorim said, it's not that I'm experimenting, it's just looking at the team and Chelsea and focusing on this game. We have time to prepare for the final. As the manager, I'm choosing the strongest team to win the game.
Yep.
So he thinks that's his strongest team right now. That seems to me.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. He's also said, we need to finish this season because every season has its history. I think the Premier League has a number of times with Blackburn Rovers almost relegated and then champions. Leicester almost relegated, then champion. Nottingham Forest almost relegated, Champions League. Last year was fighting for their lives. It's in a different context. People don't understand how things can change in Carrington, in our club, how many things are happening at the same time. Let's finish this season, then we'll see. Him basically saying, finish this season, but I'm coming next year to win.
That's a strong point.
I love that.
He could Leicester.
I love that from the manager, though. He's basically saying next season, I'm not targeting 10th or 8th. I'm targeting top.
I feel like I know this is a very dumb thing to say, and I know a lot of rival fans hate it when United say this, but every year we should be looking to win the title. I don't care how bad we are. Our mentality should be going to the season. We're going to win every single game. That should be your mentality. Yes, whether or not you're going to do it is another question, innit? Probably not. But your mentality as United should be going into the season thinking, we're Man United, we're the biggest club in the country. We're going to aim to win every single game. So I get what you're trying to say. We should be going to next season with the whole mentality that Leicester had, or that Blackburn had, or that Forest had, or whatever. These teams that have kind of flipped the script in one season. We should be going in with that mentality. Even though we finished 17th, we should be thinking, let's go and actually try and win as many games as we can, we possibly can, and hopefully we can finish as high as we can. Yeah,
and that's why I didn't like when that leak came out about United are targeting a top 6 finish next season. That's not the standard of this club.
Where did that come from?
It was in the MEN.
Oh, sick.
I say nothing. But a dog says, Gyökeres Cunha, new player instead of Garner, Bruno, Cass, Ahmad, Heaven, Dillit, Yoro. Lucas Sinovic says, Garnacho is fine, but if he's a winger, he needs to pull his head up and look for the cross instead of cutting inside and shooting, hoping it goes in. He has started doing that more, to be fair. Yeah. Brian Gallagher says, why is no one thinking Ahmad as left wing-back instead of right wing-back? He's left-footed too. It's sport. I respect the shout, and I think Ricky would be loving you for that. Get left footers on the left and right on the right. But it's sporting. I'm pretty sure Amorim actually had a left-footed right wing back. I think he likes that on that side, to be honest with you.
Do you think there's any chance Anthony could?
He's going to sell him, surely.
I don't know.
Would you still sell him, or would you?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trey Warren says, we need to score goals. I don't give a toss if we concede 35 goals, but we score 70 plus. We need attackers. We do need attackers, 100%. Avi says, Dorgu, Garnacho, etc. Only at our club do we expect under 23s to start 60 games a season, doing 8 out of 10 every week. Right, Avi. I agree. These players should not be starters. Dorgu and Garnacho should both be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
However, this age thing, is starting to think is a bit of a myth. I'm not going to lie. Do you want to know why? Because Yoro is 19 years old.
Yep.
And he's a starter and he's fantastic. Ahmad is 22. He's killing it. He's unreal. There's players there that are young but are very, very good. Sometimes maybe they're just not as good as, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but how about you don't?
And I do think some people might need more time and might need, more coaching, but I don't think we can keep using the young. I get they have potential, let him run. Dorgu's not had much time yet, but Garnacho's played a lot of games for United now, a lot. Like, you know, you're going to have to start seeing something. And I do think he's improved recently, to be fair. It'll be interesting to see what you can do off the bench, to be fair, because he's been good as a super sub before, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Out and About with Job says Ugarte went to PSG for a reason. He would have been scouted by PSG as he was by us. Sometimes players don't work out. Look at us, just needs time. Bizarre Gaming says KDB and Salah didn't work at Chelsea. Brian Gallagher says Ugarte isn't getting picked in this team because Amorim values him more and protected him for Europa. He hasn't even had 12 months. Ross McGay, Magician, says thoughts on the news this week. Goodison Park is getting knocked down. Our owners will never do. Is not getting knocked down. Our owners will never do this with Old Trafford, but when the new stadium is built, different circumstances, different finances. It's one for the stadium talk show, I suppose. But thank you, everyone. I think it's great that Goodison's being converted to the women's stadium, though. I do have to say that. Lee Jones says, love the show from Chicago. Thank you very much. Look, everyone, smash a like on the video. As we round off, Mordzs, score prediction.
I think I said 1-1, kind of boring.
I said 1-1 as well.
You copied me though.
I think you copied me.
I think it first.
Anyway, let's infiltrate the chat to Go Bridge with... We're going strong.
Yeah.
We're going strong.
Yeah.
Go infiltrate the... Actually, no. Scrap that. Don't leave yet. Mason Mount winner. Mason Mount winner. Go and infiltrate that to Go Bridge in the watch along chat. Thank you, everyone. We will have the forum afterwards. Hopefully we're talking good, getting excited for Bilbao. We'll be excited for it no matter what. Smash a like on the video and we will see you later. Come on, United.
Come on, United.